Welcome back to Constituency Watch here on Joy News on Multi TV, brought to you through the support of Star Ghana. Now, if you want to count the constituencies that have quite a number of security installations in one place, you can comfortably settle for the leuku constituency. And that constituency is also one of the few seats where no one individual has represented them more than twice in Parliament. But this December, one parliamentary aspirant is hoping to break that record. But will she succeed? What are the odds against her as she is part of the race? We'll find out also in a bit. But first, here's a profile of the leuku constituency. The leuku constituency is situated on the eastern part of Accra. It is the last but one constituency when entering the Tema region. It has an interesting mix of professionals working in various sectors of the economy, including small-scale business operators and market women. Some of the constituents are also engaged in fishing, as the constituency shares boundaries to the south with the Gulf of Guinea. It also shares boundaries with the Krowa constituency to the east and the Ladadikotopong constituency to the west. There are 104 polling stations in the constituency. Leuku is home to some of the country's security installations, such as the Teshi Police Station, which shares a wall with the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. There is also the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, the Ghana Armed Forces Training School, and the Southern Command of the Ghana Army, all in the constituency. Apart from the security outlets, there is also the ultramodern Lekma Hospital and the former La Scala Cinema Hall, which has now been converted into a church. Leuku has an interesting political history. Its first representative in Parliament at the start of the Fourth Republic was Seth Ajay So of the National Convention Party, who polled 5,913 votes. In 1996, the constituency fell to the National Democratic Congress, whose candidate Ni Ajay Boysikan polled 38.09% or 24,776 votes. The NDC, however, lost to the New Patriotic Party in 2000, making Eddie Akita the third parliamentarian from the constituency with 21,082 votes or 48.40%. The NPP retained their hold of the seat in 2004 with a new candidate, Dr. Gladys Nole Ashite, who polled 33,039 votes, representing 43.1%. The constituency again fell to the NDC in 2008, with Nino Tedua of the NDC winning 56.9%, representing 42,087 votes. The race has been equally mixed on the presidential front. In 1996, former President Rawlings polled 29,954 votes or 60% for the NDC in the constituency, whilst the NPP's John Kufuor managed 18,911 votes or 37.9%. During the first round of the voting in 2000, the NPP's John Kufuor took the lead with 22,329 votes, representing 51.65%, and the NDC's John Mills managed 18,747 votes, or 43.3%. The margin of victory grew wider during the runoff polls in 2000, as the NPP's John Kufuor secured 26,046 votes, or 61.70%, with the NDC's John Mills's fortunes decreasing to 16,183 votes, representing 38.30%. The 2004 presidential elections in the leuku constituency was keenly contested, but the NPP's John Kufuor managed a narrow lead with 38,100 votes or 49.8%, whilst the NDC's John Mills secured 37,386 or 48.9% of the votes, with a difference of 714 votes. In 2008, however, the votes in the presidential race went in favor of the NDC, just like they did in the parliamentary race. In the first round of voting, the NDC's John Mills polled 41,359 or 55.80% of the votes, whilst the NPP's Nana Akufo-Addo managed 31,603 or 42.60%. The margins again widened during the second round of voting, with John Mills winning 44,652 or 58.49% of the votes, and Nana Akufo-Addo polling 31,684 votes, representing 41.51%. Development in the constituency is still ongoing as our cameras captured these workers working on portions of the road linking Teshi to the Spintex Road. A voter tells us what the constituency needs now is quality leadership, but he fears that need is being trivialized.
The new MP that we want, we are getting now, which is Sena, Teshi Sena. Right now, some things are going on in this town. They said, they said it's a stranger. And stranger, they don't want stranger. What kind of life? We are looking for somebody who can take care of the town. You see, Teshi here, we are having a lot of problems. It's not only water. And if we get a better MP, the MP can take care of all this. You see, we shouldn't do tribalism.
It appears the constituents share in his sentiments to a degree, as they list the developmental needs they want addressed.
This electricity that they are changing, you see, the prepaid card, in fact, it's creating problem. It's creating a very big problem in the communities.
What's the problem?
My area, at where I am now, Twibla here, we bought prepaid card, the credit. Not quite a long time. It's about 800,000. Just 2 weeks now. It has finished.
Sometimes water, we get water Saturday and Sundays. That one is a problem. We have to get water every day. You see, water is our life. Our road, you get to Bush Road. Bush Road, the road is there long time. When this one comes, oh, I will do this, I will do this, I will do this. They will just lie to us. And we are not seeing anything. When they promise us, they should try to fulfill their promise. That's what we are looking for.
If they need the power, they will come to us after the election. We won't see anyone. That's our main problem. The problem you have. And the water problem at Teshi. The water problem. And this, everybody will come, say we will solve it for you. Afterwards, we won't see anything. So we get the water about 2 months, then we get once in the month.
The kids here, you know, the teenagers, they give birth a lot. Maybe you see someone who is 15 years and she's giving birth to about 3 and the child is not going to school. You see them loitering around during the day. So we are just hoping that the coming MPs will just ensure that at least they also benefit from the basic education that we are all expecting, so that at least, even if they are not able to get to the SS, at least they can also, maybe from the nursery to JHS, at least they can also benefit from it.
Testing, we have a lot of challenges. Our drainages, they are not good, though the current municipal, they are trying to solve our problems. But yet, we're expecting the aspirant MPs, when they come, they will solve those problems. The expansion of the community, we need them to solve for us. For example, the previous MP, the previous one, before the sitting MP, is actually 17 and the sitting MP continue. So we're expecting the next one who will come in will continue what the sitting MP is doing now. For example, they build the clinic for us. Test it as a span. So we need more of those problems. Our education system over here is a problem. The parents over here, they face a lot of challenges. So if our education, when they come, we are expecting them to tackle the education side for us. And about our healthcare too, we have a problem on that side too.
For now, though, the race appears to be a two-horse race between the former MP, Dr. Gladys Nolea-Shite, who is seeking a comeback, and a former beauty queen, Benita Sena Okitidua, who is contesting on the ticket of the NDC. Even though the NDC and MPP are in the lead, the PPP is also hoping to steal the show. What remains to be seen now is whether Lejokuku will once again go for a relatively small party or stick with either of the two big parties. Okay, so that was our profile of the Lejokuku constituency here in the Greater Accra region. But on the screen now, still live visuals we are getting from the Melcom departmental store which collapsed at Achimota earlier today, and as you can see, rescue work is still ongoing. The security personnel are also there together with the rescue team trying to get some more people if they are still those who are still trapped underneath the rubble. They're trying to get them out. These are live visuals from the Malcolm store at Achimota. So as you can see there, that is exactly what is happening right there. So of course, Joy News is your most authoritative news channel and trusted news source as well. So we've been there since morning. We've been giving you live updates from the field, and these are still live pictures that we are getting from the grounds from Achimota. So of course, definitely we'll be keeping you posted throughout the night as to developments happening over there. But let's come back to the studio now, and I've been joined in the studio by the Progressive People's Party's parliamentary candidate for the Lejokuku constituency. His name is Robert Ajete Sowa. Good evening, Mr. Sowa, and thanks for joining us.
Good evening, sir. And good evening to your viewers.
Okay, well, I must point out that we tried getting the NPP's parliamentary candidate as well, Dr. Nole Ashite, but she makes us understand she'll be in a meeting tonight, a crucial meeting for that, so she won't be able to join us. And the NDC's candidate, Benita Senokitidua, we haven't been able to reach, although she had agreed to some extent on Monday to be part of the show. We couldn't get any confirmation from her since then. So we'll have to do tonight with Mr. Ajete Sowa, who is with us in the studio. Good evening once again. Now, first and foremost, let me start off from one concern that was raised from a voter in your constituency. He says what Lejokuku needs now is quality leadership. Is that what you're offering them? Is that what you're promising to give them?
Good evening once again to viewers. It's one of the qualities which I possess. I have that quality, quality leadership. The people know themselves that I have that quality.
Okay, so then we can now look at the myriad of problems that were raised in the constituency. Roads are still not exactly completed, particularly the Bush Road, which is supposed to be one of the major roads that once construction works on it complete, it will cut back a lot on the traffic intention. Of course, now it's cut back a bit on the traffic because I've lived in that constituency for close to 10 years, so I know how the road is and how much of a help it is, but it still is never completed. Someone also did point to the fact about continuation of work by successive MPs since Dr. Ashite's time. Ninote is continuing. Should you become MP for Lejokuku, for instance, in after December 7, what are your plans for the Bush Road, for instance? Let's start with that one.
The Bush Road, as you mentioned earlier, is underway, and it's almost about 60–70% complete. That is what I believe. And if by the grace of God I get the nod, I will definitely continue with the good works which has been started by the predecessor. So definitely I will do something about it. I'll continue with every good work which has been started or begun by the predecessors.
But so are we then, like, how much of a priority will the Bush Road be, say, on your list of to-do for the constituency?
It will be a priority because it is an alternative route. If the main road is jammed with traffic, it helps decongest traffic, and especially people who live at on the Spintex Road. If they are going to Accra, because of the traffic on the Spintex Road, they use that Bush Road.
Exactly.
Or the people around, how do you call it, Triblow, talking about Greater Estates. All those people use the Bush Road. So it is an alternative route, which I think priority should be given to that road. Okay,
so say within how much of a time should we expect the Bush Road to be completed under, say, a Robert Ajete Sowa leadership of Lejokuku?
As for time, I cannot give time because I'm not there yet. But definitely I know it will be completed if I get there by the grace of God.
Okay. One other issue that comes up is water.
Yeah.
Water to the area. When I used to live in that constituency, we get water once a week.
Okay.
Now, from the voices we heard, they say it's cut down to sometimes once a month.
Okay.
What is happening to the water supply to that constituency?
This problem has been a problem of old. And people have come, promised to solve the problem. Yes, sir. But you need to diagnose or do research and know what the problem is, which I have done.
So what do you think is the problem?
The problem is the same source of where we get the water. The main source of the water is still same. Even though the population has increased for the past 10 years, it has gone up. And an alternative should be made. But they are using the same source. And I personally believe that we should have another source, which, if by His grace, I am giving the nod, we have only 2 reservoirs, apart from the main source which we get. One is situated at the military camp, which serves the military.
Yeah.
And the other one is around, how do you call this place?
Is it the one around Anumantu area?
Yes, around Anumantu. It's not Anumantu, it's Cold Store.
Cold Store,
just behind Cold Store. Yeah, and that water reservoir is not sufficient to supply the populates. So I personally believe that we have to erect 2, if not 3, at least 2 of the reservoirs.
Okay.
Yes, having one to serve Obedibin and how do we call it, Matiman. Whilst we can site one at between Nongwa and Teshi boundary.
Okay.
These 2 reservoirs can, if not eradicating the problem, will bring the problem to the lowest.
Okay, that's an interesting proposal. So are you going to use your common fund to do that, or it's something you intend to take on as a personal project for the constituency?
Teshi, even though there is poverty in part of Teshi, there is a lot of money in Teshi. There is a lot. There are a lot of industries, corporate bodies, companies, banks in our constituency. And if they are in the constituency, they should be part of everything which goes on there, including developments.
Okay.
So why don't we talk to them, because they are stakeholders, sit them down, let them contribute, and have some basic projects done in the constituency.
Okay, and how about the issue of power also? Because I know power outage, at least even before the power rationing or load shedding exercise started, power has not been exactly very stable in that constituency.
Power is a national problem. It is not only our constituency. It is a national problem. All that my people are complaining of is the prepaid meter, which has been a concern. But I personally believe that they have not been given enough education on the prepaid. That is why they are thinking prepaid is not good. But prepaid is the best. But they have to be educated enough.
Okay, and then there was the issue about teenage pregnancy being on the rise in the constituency. Of course, as poverty is part of the constituency, definitely such issues are bound to occur. But what are your plans for the youth, in particular in the constituency, to ensure that teenage pregnancy does not become something that is part of Lejokuku for life, but something that can be eradicated?
And this teenage pregnancy that you are talking about is because they are not focusing on their education. There are a whole lot of school dropouts, and that has been the main concern, or that is what has caused this teenage pregnancy, these youth getting themselves in some social vices, which is causing all these problems. And I personally believe that when I come, by the grace of God, we will make schools attractive. Schools are not attractive for the children there. They don't go to school. You see them in the morning. When you question them, they say they will go in the afternoon. You see them in the afternoon, they will tell you they went in the morning. And it has been a problem. But I did a research and I realized that schools, the public schools are not attractive for them.
Okay.
And we have to do something to attract the children.
So how do you intend to make school attractive for them?
Good. What are we going to do? What you do is you have to organize competitions in the school, both academic and sporting. If you have these essay writing competition, reading competition, and so forth and so on, sporting competitions, for instance, it makes school attractive for children. All these things were they used to do in the time past, but now you can see all these things in our public schools, and it's been causing a problem. It's been causing a lot of problem. It doesn't make schools if a child is not clever enough or somebody who is craving to rise in education and is not doing well, you realize that he or she stops the school. But when you do something to attract them in the school, definitely they will always be coming to school. So all that we need to do is to liaise with GES, that district of GES, then make the school attractive. I have a program for that.
How about the school, the shift system, for instance, in the public basic schools? Don't you think if that system also comes to an end, as has been done in the Accra Metro, if Lekma now, because they've come, Lejokuku and Krowa have been joined to form a municipality, if the two municipalities are able to, or if that municipality is able to come together to halt the shift system, won't that also help with the issue of teenage pregnancy and making school more attractive?
Partially it will help, but let me tell you, I went to public school and we went on this shift program, but in those days you cannot see these problems. You see, but school was attractive by then, and you know, people who are not so much good academically, when you come to sporting life, they are good. You see, so if there are competition in sports, other programs in the school, if it's not good here, it will be good here, and still he or she will be coming to school.
Okay, so you finished what you wanted to say there.
Yes, I finished with them.
Okay, so for you, you don't think that halting the shift system will exactly make the schooling more attractive? It
will be part, but as I'm saying, just organize competition. You know, children, if there is competition among children, you know, it makes them challenge themselves.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? And so just get these competitions. Essay reading, essay writing competition, reading competition, spelling bee competition, come to academic sporting, and, you know, athletics, football. And, you know, if the person is not good academically, definitely he or she will be good in the other side, on the other side.
Okay.
And that makes the children go to school and always want to go to school.
I'll ask you what your plans are for the youth in general for that area, but we are going back to the Melcombe site at Achimota for some more, to see what exactly has been happening so far. Well, there you have it on your screens. The rescue workers are still trying to cut through some of the metals that are there. They're trying to get through to the rubbles and then see if they can. I'm sure they're still hoping that they can make it in time to rescue those who are still trapped underneath the rubble, because we understand the shopping mall actually collapsed earlier in the morning, not too long after the shop had been opened to the public. So mostly those who were affected, we understand, are mostly those who work there. But then, of course, some customers, some early birds would have been affected. And we're hoping that the rescue services are able to get to the bottom of the situation, get to the depth of the wreckage, and then, of course, try and pull out a few more of those who are trapped there, so that we can get them some medical attention. Okay, so we're back in the studio, and with me is the PPP's parliamentary aspirant for the Lejokuku constituency, Robert Ajete Sowa. And Mr. Sowa, I don't know if you've been following the story from the Achimota the Melcombe shop that collapsed this morning?
Honestly, I traveled. I just arrived this afternoon.
Okay.
So I just had information immediately. We got to Accra.
Okay.
So I didn't know what happened.
Okay.
All that I heard was there was a collapse of a building at Achimota, which houses Malcolm.
Yeah. Okay, but anyway, your party's running mate has already visited the scene. Okay, so let's come back to Lejokuku. And I said I was going to ask your plans for the use of Lejokuku.
Yeah. The youth, a lot of them has a problem, and the program I have for them is a lot of them were not able to continue with their education. Some stopped at JSS, some ended at JSS, some ended as senior high school, for instance. And we have planned to have something like a discovery project, just to help them if they are not able to continue with their education. We'll help them discover their talents. There are a whole lot of them are endowed with talents, So we help them to discover their talents and develop upon it. For instance, there are a lot of sporting guys who were not able to go too far so far as education is concerned. And they did well in sporting activities. A lot of them. So all that you need to do is to tap their talents, help them to tap or know their talents. Then you help them to develop it.
Okay. Now we also spoke to a few of the fishermen, because Lejokuku also has a fishing community because it's close to the sea. So we spoke to some fishermen in Lejokuku to find out what their concerns are and how they'd want them addressed. Let's watch what the fisher folks had to say about the problems they face, and when we come back, we'll find out if Mr. Ajetosoa has some proposals for addressing their concerns.
MPs ba ke ambana maye ege amete amebo amfo oda china gba pi won show na cha aga ba fi abo ke ni bi aba laka o ega ate ni bi ogbejegbeja ko mele hun ehin ni sani afi ka ma laka o e ba to wa blow ya me ka mbo ame ye ka mge skete ko ame bi ke ame bi na ambi efe gbeme ege wo bo mo ye we mam ke wo yo se go won blow so ege ye to when we are one short na friend shop akumu ba 50 yadi can be amawa play aga me na amba ega me ba wo be na ga anti aga ba fe waf ka se vote mo be ga amba ga ba fe waf ga amba ambala ga wo ga amaye ka ga ma fe waf ambo na mfia wo konu to njole ba
bana abomoto ga obi abomoto president ya nwa amone lete wala na asun la pa ko lolo nganga ba fe ni ame awo ko se ga ani chance pe ame fo wada adun ben wala jinge o mo sege college pe on chifin bon ko o mo sege college pe chifin o ga ofre wo ofre wala ya anu yin lo ko ntwa agba wona ko ntwa o ga wo fa me o fe fili machine ni wo ga we ke kandie na sun won show mi ke toni petrol be na won le e jela e won fi won to ni e ba chi fi won no pe ke toni ni ke ya anu wo ga we e jela le mu e ya won tun o won to ni e ba chi fi won agbene wo ka ti je dagbin anyen analu wo wanyu wa ya wo fo ti gese ni wonalu ona be to shi light na me sun show mi first lu agbe amba shi moto na agbe shi bia na lu enwun to wo wo wa agbe wonyu wo ya wo petrol for 40 gallon 50 gallon ya ni wona no ona be to shi ni ngo dromo na court shi go wa eto wona ni wona alu eje ona be to kan e wo lu eyin lo to mo fin yin la eje ni wo ye ni wo ke sha wo yo shika me de wo agbene wo ko petrol shika won agbene amena shika ko amia.
Okay, so those were some of the fisher folks in the Lejokuku constituency telling us about some of the problems they face, particularly light fishing. And there's supposed to be a legislation on light fishing, but it looks like it's not being enforced. And that is one main concern for the fisher folks, because they tell us previously they could make their catch just close to shore, but now they have to go further. They use about 50-40 gallons of premix fuel, and they don't make any catch. So if you become their legislator in Parliament, how are you going to help them address the issue of light fishing, for instance?
This issue is a national issue, and as you said that it is in Parliament, I'll just go and lobby and make sure that that law is passed so that it is enforced for our fishermen to be free. It's not our constituency alone. It's all the shores, it's on the shores of Ghana.
Exactly.
They've been complaining. If you go to Central Region, they complain. You go to Volta Region, they complain.
Yeah.
So all that we need to do is to make sure that that legislature is passed so that they make sure that that law is enforced and they stop that fishing, that light fishing, and how do you call it? This light fishing something
around the coast. Okay, stay with me for a while though. Now let's go to the phone lines and let's speak to Peter Ankoma. He is deputy editor of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Good evening, Peter.
Good evening, my brother.
Okay, thanks for joining us once again. Tonight we're in the Lejokuku constituency. And we have with us in the studio the PPP's candidate for that constituency, Robert Ajete Sowa. But looking at the trend of voting in Lejokuku, it seems to be a swing seat that no one has won twice. Gladys Noleashite is hoping to make it back to Parliament a second time. Will she be able to do that, seeing as no particular or no one MP has done that before in that constituency?
Yes, it looks likely so. It is indeed one of the kind of 7 constituencies that none of the political parties can boast of having control over it. Lejokuku is one of the swing constituencies in the greater Accra region. And for one to be able to win this very constituency, the person should be able to win the coastal areas, the South Tishinungwa Estate, North Tishinungwa Estate, and some part of the Tubular area.
Okay.
Of course, the other political parties can boast of some small or core support base. But the two dominant parties that are quite popular in this very constituency are the NPP and the NDC. What my friend, the PPP candidate and other political parties can do is just to get some small votes. And per our analysis and our work done in the constituency, we believe that the NPP candidate and Madame Nole Ashiti stand a better chance of winning the seat for the NPP. Like I said, the two main dominant parties or parties that are very popular in this very constituency are the NPP and NDC. And because the two can boast of some chunk of support base, the slightest division within any of the parties, the slightest loss of focus, the slightest slip in terms of strategy could affect the political party.
Okay.
Here, what is happening in the NDC here is not quite encouraging. You know, the NDC had their internal problems in their last primaries, where at the point one of their vice chairpersons even threatened to contest. The incumbent member of parliament lost to Madame, the current person contesting on the ticket of NDC,
Benita Okitidua.
And for that matter, the supporters of the incumbent MP, even though the MP has declared his support for the candidate, they are just not happy, and that sort of is working against the candidate of the NDC. But like you rightly said, it's a constituency that none of the candidates has been able to win or the 2 times, or are able to win or retain the seat. For instance, in 1996, when you look at the electoral results, the NDC won the constituency with their candidate near Ajay Sekan. He won with a margin of victory of 9,314 votes. The MPP in the presidential, of course, the NDC again won the constituency. By 2000 elections, near Ajay Sekan of the NDC contested again and lost to Mr. Edi Akita of the MPP.
Exactly, because I was actually going to even looking at the presidential results from that constituency. It's been fluctuating. The MPP had 37.9% in 96. It came up to 51.65% in 2000. The first round came up to 61.70 in the second round, went down again to 49.8% in 2004, and then in the 2008 first round, further down to 42.60 and then 41.51. So somewhat, I know your work in the constituency puts the NPP in the lead, but looking at their 2008 performance, does it still put them in a better position to take that constituency both in presidential and parliamentary? Very well.
You see, what worked against the NDC in 2000, for instance, was the fact that, you know, they lost all the coastal areas. And in the coastal areas, they have their own different of issues that they want to see before voting for a candidate. For instance, the issue raised petroleum,
the light fishing and all that.
And all manner of those things.
Yeah.
You see? And per our work, Madame Nolashte has done a lot of work in those areas. Again, when you look at the coastal and the estates area, the South Tishin Lungwa Estate and the North Tishin Lungwa Estate, those are areas that Geda Estates.
Yeah.
Those are areas that are also occupied with the people of middle class and the elite, sort of.
Yeah.
They also want to see a candidate that is quite appealing, a candidate that can best represent them in parliament, though. But they also want to look at somebody who can better address or facilitate in addressing their issues of water. Notice they have water problems.
Exactly.
They want to see a candidate that can better address the issue of water in this area. They also face the challenge of electricity and energy issues. And they also face the challenge of security. So they look at more like issues. And these are areas that my friend, the PVP candidate, can draw his support base from, because he can better, you know, they are people who consider this area, the Geda Estate, the Teshe, they look at the issues. So they want to vote for a candidate that can better address those issues. But when you look at the other electoral areas, like the Abolibu, Main Teshi, Akoma area, near Sita Kumfra area, and even some parts of Tubular South. See, those are areas that are sort of cut across between the two main parties that they will always want to vote for either the NDP or the NDC.
Okay. All right then.
And for our friend, the PV candidate, he will struggle getting supported from these areas.
Okay, I'll find out from him in a bit if he really is struggling or not. But Peter, I'll have to say a big thank you to you, as always, for your analysis of the various constituencies. So are you struggling with getting supporters from particularly the areas he says we need to watch, the coastal areas, Triblow, the estates as well?
Oh,
how are you faring in these areas?
I am not struggling at all.
Yeah, sure.
I am not struggling. Come to the guy, I'm on the ground. He's just sitting somewhere and calling people to find out.
No, but they're also working in the constituency.
What I'm saying is, I am on the ground. I talk to the people one-on-one. And I'm not struggling. If I tell you the number of supporters I have now, it will marvel you.
How many do you have?
I cannot tell you now. I cannot tell you.
Why can't you tell me?
I can't tell you. That is, it's a trump card. Because what I'm saying is, I have a lot of supporters. And people are buying my message because they see that my message is feasible.
What exactly is your message to them?
I am saying that if I'm giving the nod, let us have something like 10-year development plan. 10 years, how do we want Teshi to look like?
And how will Teshi look like in
10 years? What do we want to see in Teshi? Or 10 years, what are the developments if we have in Teshi can bring the hardship, the untold hardship on the people down?
So who is contributing to that 10-year development plan? Are you coming up with the plan or the people themselves?
Yes, I'm involving everybody. This is all inclusive.
Okay.
Yes, I'm talking of stakeholders, the chief, the acting chief, traditional council, municipal chief executive, opinion leaders, and then the corporate bodies and banks, companies. Get everybody involved. What do we need in Teshi? That in 10 years will let lives transformed. And I realized that there is a lot of poverty in the southern sector, where the indigenous are.
Yeah, Teshimami towards the coast. Yeah.
There is poverty there. And how can we fight this poverty? I realized that my research told me that because there are no commercial activities in the area, that is why the people are poor. All the women, the ladies who want to trade have to travel to Medina, Accra, Agbogloshi, and so forth and so on. You understand? And there are no commercial activities. So how can we raise commercial activities, which I'm capable of doing?
But looking at the Mami, for instance,
yes.
It looks to me, looking at it, it looks like there isn't even enough space to create or establish any commercial ventures there. So how then
we are not going to do it in Miami.
So then where
we'll
exactly?
have a market. We need to have a market.
Because for now you have two small markets at
no,
La Scala and then at the
markets.
other side.
They are food sellers. They sell
well,
food
if you can
by
put
the
it that
roadside.
way.
It's a food market. But we need a real market. When this, you know what the market is. One-stop shop.
Where
anything you get, you want, you buy. So I am proposing a Kaneshi market as a prototype.
And where would that be, for instance?
Oh, there is land. Don't worry. There is land. Look, I was on Obonu FM last week, and after presenting my message, the first caller who called in blessed me and said that this had been her dream for so many years. So after the program, I should come and see her.
Okay.
So after following up, when I went, look, it will surprise you to hear that this woman brought an indenture and showed me a land which she had purchased for all these years to have a market built intention. And this woman, I will not disclose her name, she has assured me that if by the grace of God I get the nod, he will offer that land free of charge.
So that you can build the market.
Yes, we will build the market, have a lorry station. We don't have a lorry station in Teshin. You know it.
Yeah.
Everybody have to come to the roadside, which even contributes to traffic.
Yeah.
Everybody, if coming from Tribble and going to Kumasi, you have to pick 3 cars. We must have a lorry station that anywhere you want to go out of Teshin, you just bought a car and off you go. And if we have these 2 projects done in Teshin, it will raise commercial activities. Women who go outside Teshin or outside the constituency to go and trade or to go and buy will all remain there, and the cash will remain there, which will flow among the people. The poverty, if not going away entirely, will at least go down. And there are a lot, look, there are a lot which I have in that 10-year development plan, which I'm telling you, in next 10 years, you will not see poverty attention.
Okay.
They are all feasible.
Okay, let's find out what people are saying about Lejokuku and about what we've been talking about. This one from Awal Isahaku Kaneu on Facebook. He says, come 7th December, I'm quite sure the constituents of Lejokuku shall massively endorse Nana Akufo-Addo and Dr. Noli Ashite as we continue the unfinished business
that
of
is
the...
From one person. That is from one person.
Well, let me finish what he says.
That is from one
as we
person.
continue the unfinished business of the NPP... I think, are you trying to say the unfinished business of the NDC, Awal, where the constituency shall receive mass infrastructure transformation, provision of social amenities, and creation of jobs for the unemployed? It is quite obvious that the constituents have regretted bitterly for voting the NDC candidate in 2008 as he woefully failed them. They are therefore waiting patiently for 7th December to give back the nod to Honorable Gladys Ashite and Nanado. Good evening. Well, good evening to you too. Adoganga Chilagbala Patience says NDC has stabilized the economy and we are voting for them in again come December. Well, okay, that's what Patience is also saying. How do you feel when you hear people make such comments? That
I'm not bothered. I'm not worried at all.
You are not intimidated about the fact that Noli Ashite has been an MP before?
I'm not worried. I'm not intimidated at all. Look, I am on the ground, as I said earlier on, and I know the reaction of the people after presenting my message, and they could see hope in my message. They could see that there is light at the end of the tunnel in my message.
Okay, let's look at a few more messages that have come in. This one says the NPP woman will win Lejokuku this year. Okay, that's Noli Ashite you're referring to. This one says, neither promises made by the current NDC MP, Nino Tedua, in 2008 compared to the reality on the ground are highly paradoxical. It is my fervent hope that the people of Lejokuku elect Gladys Noli Ashite as their MP in 2012. I love Teshi. That's from Manche Bruce. Okay. This one says, I'm quite sure, okay, I think we've read this one already. It says, I am quite sure that the constituents of Lejekuku will give the nod back to Honorable Gladys Noliashite to continue her unfinished business of proper infrastructure development, roads, social amenities, and job creation. Okay, that is from you. This one says, so far NDC is the party for Lejekuku. Okay, that's from William. Dr. Nanole Ashite will take the seat. He tell Mr. Sowa he doesn't need to be an MP to organize quiz and essay competitions to attract children to school. What has he done so far to assist the youth and people of the constituency? That's from Okpoti. He wants to know what you've done so far to help the people of your constituency.
I cannot blow my horns or broadcast what I do. I have been at the background for all these years, pushing people here, left, right, center, to go to parliament, to be in positions to help develop the place. I can't be trumpet. There are people, when they do something for the community, they trumpet it.
But isn't it vital in this case, seeing as you want to be an MP, to at least let the people know that you've done X, Y, Z for them before?
This is what I'm saying, that I have done a lot of things which I don't need to tell people. I've been paying school fees.
Okay.
I don't have to tell you.
Okay.
Even quite recently, I've paid school fees. I've done a lot of things, which I can't just be, trumpeting it.
Okay, so Kuti, that's your answer. He says at least he won't tell us much, but at least he's been paying school fees for some people. So last message before we wrap up. This one is from Maputo. He says, Smart, with the development projects depicted in the just seen footage, like roads, schools, and the Lekma Hospital, I am very sure Benita Okitidua will win massively. Smart, don't worry. Lejekuku is for the great NDC. That's from Jerry. So far, everybody that has been commenting is predicting it for either the NDC or the NPP.
Do you know what I want to tell you?
No.
They make noise with their lorries, their cars up and down, playing music. I am on the ground working quietly. I have this project. We talk to people one-on-one. We are on the ground. We don't make noise. That is where you will see, you will hear surprises.
Okay.
It will surprise you. The results on December 7th will shock you. And as for the people of Teshi, they've always been making history. You know it, we just said it, that they've not maintained one party at a time. But this time, it's going to go out of the two self-acclaimed parties, and it will shock everybody.
But the shock can go either way, you know that.
This is what I'm telling you. I am on the ground.
So we'll be shocked that you are winning, or will be
yes,
shocked?
Because everybody is saying Nole, Senna, Nole, Senna. So when they hear that
you won,
Goliath has slaughtered the head of David has slaughtered the head of Goliath, everybody will be shocked.
Okay, but just out of curiosity, before we go though, any relations to Ajay Tosowa the dancer?
Cousins from the same clan.
Oh, okay.
But not too close.
Okay. All right then. So that's our show for tonight. Many thanks for joining us here on Constituency Watch on the Joy News channel. My name is Nia Kofi Smatabe. My guest in the studio, Robert Ajay Tosowa, who is cousin related to Ajay Tosowa the dancer, and he is of course the PPP's parliamentary aspirant for the Lejekuku constituency. And also on the phone we were joined by Peter Ankuma of the Daily Dispatch to look at the chances of the candidates in that constituency.